What's up, fight fans? My name's Gary Smith and this is Fight Theory, and today we're talking about the boxing bout between Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward, which is going to be the biggest boxing fight of the year and possibly the decade. You've got two undefeated fighters putting their records on the line. You've got Kovalev, who's the unified light heavyweight champion, putting his 3 belts on the line. You've got Andre Ward moving up from super middleweight to challenge the champion, and whoever wins this fight is going to be considered the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world. Now, a lot of fighting analysts or boxing analysts are sitting on the fence on this one. They're very 50-50. It's going either way. I'm going to see if I can break down this fight, and I'll give you an answer at the end of it on who I believe is going to come away the victor. Sergey Kovalev is believed to be the bigger opponent. That remains to be seen on the day. They're both the same heights. I don't think there's a great deal of difference between reach. But Kovalev is certainly the more powerful fighter, and he uses his power intelligently. He doesn't come in just looking for the big shots. He's methodical, intelligent, and controlled in the way he uses his power. Kovalev is also good at fighting long, keeping people on the end of his punches, where he's going to be most powerful. I think this is going to be very useful against Ward. He has more chance of keeping Ward at a distance than what he is at letting Ward on the inside, where Ward is exceptionally good. One thing about Kovalev is he did not look impressive against his last opponent, Isaac Chimbella. Chimbella was supposed to have a similar style to Ward. Kovalev still won by decision, but he looks awkward, took his time to figure it out. This does not bode well in the sense that what he's coming up against Ward is a much more polished version of that fighting style. And Kovalev is not overly known for his defensive skills. He is a very offensive fighter. He's reasonably easy to hit at a world-class level. And I think that's probably going to be one of his biggest drawbacks in the fight. Andre Ward hasn't lost a boxing bout since he was 12 years old. Think about that. He hasn't been boxing since he was 12. He hasn't lost since he was 12. This guy is a true boxing master. He has the ability to adapt in each fight and adapt his style to his opponent. He's not stuck in a pigeonhole with one particular way of fighting. He is exceptionally good defensively, and this will be his biggest edge in the fight. I think that he'll confuse Kovalev, he'll frustrate Kovalev, and no doubt that will help him come up as the victor in the fight. One criticism is he has not been overly active over the last few years. Well, he actually has been. In the last year and a half, he's had 3 fights. 2 of them have been at light heavyweight preparing for this fight. So any ring rust that he did have when he had a bit of a layoff, he was having problems with his promoter, he was having injury troubles. I think that's well and truly in the past now. I think he'll be sharp and ready to fight. Particularly someone like Ward, who's been boxing all his life, it's not going to take much for him to get back in there. He fights well on the outside, but he fights better in close. Now, normally you would say to keep away from the bigger fighter on the inside because of the power, but I think this is going to be where Ward will win the fight. One thing that Carl Froch said about Ward when fighting him was that he was either too close or too far away to hit. Ward is an exceptionally intelligent fighter. He has some awesome boxing attributes, and he truly is a boxing master. If I was in Kovalev's corner, I would be telling him that he needs to keep Ward on the end of his punches. He needs to use long, straight body shots to wear Ward down. We know that Kovalev has unbelievable power in his body shots, his straight body shots. He needs to increase his volume, which tends to slow down the more classical type boxers. He needs to look for the KO in the later rounds, not earlier on. I think Ward's going to be too savvy to begin with to catch out. He may be able to catch him in the later rounds. If he's increasing that volume and wearing him down, there's a possibility that Kovalev can find that gap later in rounds and put Ward on the canvas. If I was in Ward's corner, I'd be telling him to get in close, use the clinch, but more importantly, keep Kovalev guessing and make him miss. Kovalev doesn't have a wide variety of attacks in his arsenal. He's not overly creative as a boxer. If Ward can get him frustrated, which is a possibility, then it's going to tire Kovalev out, make him miss. It's going to tire him out. It's going to frustrate him. It's going to make him make mistakes. I think that Ward is going to be too slick for Kovalev. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think Ward gets it by decision, representing his hometown, Oakland, right here. But I think for those who are looking for a good bet that has reasonable returns in this fight, try Kovalev for the decision. I don't think Kovalev is going to knock Ward out. I think Ward is far too slick for that. But if it does go to decision, there is a chance that Kovalev could get up. But in my opinion, Ward is going to beat Kovalev by decision. And that is my fight analysis on the big fight tomorrow between Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward. My name's Gary Smith, and this is Fight Theory. Boom!